Hello, everybody, and a pleasant good afternoon, evening, or wherever you may be listening to this. I'm Ben Charles, and we're back once again with another roundup. If you're wondering why I did not review Raw last week, well, simply put, because I wanted to. It was after the Royal Rumble, and I saved everything. We briefly talked about Monday Night Raw back at the Royal Rumble review. So if you're wondering why I'm not talking about Raw last week, you can check out the Royal Rumble review. But we will talk about this week's Monday Night Raw instead. So we're going to review last week's AEW Dynamite, last week's SmackDown, this week's Monday Night Raw, and this week's AEW Dynamite on February 8th, 2023. Last week was February 1st, 2023, and SmackDown was February the 3rd, 2023. So, and Raw was February 6th. There you go. All right, everybody. We're gonna go into last week's AEW Dynamite because I did not review that show. February 1st, 2023, AEW Dynamite from Dayton, Ohio. Hangman Adam Page vs. Jon Moxley opens the show. This was a good match. I'm not really going to talk about this match too much because, simply put, I've seen this literally 3 other times. Well, this was the rubber match, actually. And Jon Moxley got the win after a roll-up, which was ridiculous, by the way. And pretty much that's all you need to know. They went back and forth, but they did have a good match. Do not count this match out. This match was not better than their LA match, in my honest opinion. But yeah. Anyway, all you need to know: Jon Moxley and Hangman beat the shit out of each other, and the match went about 14-15 minutes, and Jon Moxley won. Wrestling, I'll give it a 7. Logic, I'll give it a 5. That's the best I can give. And that was the entire match. Renee Paquette interviewed The Bunny, who was still employed. The Bunny challenged Jamie Hayter to a title eliminator match next week, and Jamie accepted. Normally, we would do a specific segment for this, but instead, it's not a title shot. I'm sick of these title eliminator matches. Get rid of them. That's all you need to know. Saraya and Toni Storm attacked Dr. Britt Baker, GOM-TV, in a different part of a segment. While Hayter was being interviewed, Jamie Hayter ran off to help Britt Baker. The Acclaim versus Turbo Floyd and Truth Magnum. Who the hell are these two goons? Turbo Floyd and Truth Magnum. Oh my goodness. And no relation to Carl Magnum. I hope not. Jesus Christ. Holy mother of God. This match went 1 minute. No rating. This sucked. And this next segment sucked. The Guns. Still employed. Colton Gunn says, we want a shot at your belts and we want an answer right now. Anthony Bowens lets the people decide if they want a tag team title shot. The fans say no. Billy Gunn walks off for no fucking reason, I may add. So, something is definitely going on. Billy Gunn then came back to the ring and he says, do you think it has what it takes? He says, you got it. Next week, a tag team title shot. To which I don't think the Acclaim necessarily agreed with that stipulation. So this was absolutely ridiculous. Thumbs down segment. Alice Marvez with Jungle Boy Jack Perry. He asks what's next for Jungle Hook. He says, I've done the tag team title before, but this year I'll be a champion all by myself. Jungle Boy, if you even want... here's what I think Jungle Boy should win. Jungle Boy should win the All-Atlantic Championship and call it a day. He does not need the TNT title. He is too good for the TNT title. Plus, he's literally a mid-card guy. He's not even close to even being a near main event guy. So, I'd rather have him win the All-Atlantic Championship. I think Siri has decided to interrupt me here for no fucking reason. Apologize, everybody. Shut up, honey. Shut up. Konosuke Takeshita versus Brian Cage. This was actually a relatively short match. This match, I believe, went 8 minutes. All you need to know, Takeshita beat up Brian Cage for a bit. They exchanged elbow strikes. Takeshita brought Brian Cage with a Blue Thunder Bomb, which was cool. Takeshita came back with a Liger Bomb. Then Brian Cage with a Discus Lariat. Takeshita then planted Brian Cage with a Brainbuster. Then an Avalanche Brainbuster. Then a running knee on Brian Cage for the 1-2-3. Konosuke Takeshita wins a big match here. This was a relatively short match, but hey, the first times for everything. You know, the match shouldn't have not gone this short, but hey, it is what it is. I'll give this match a 5, and logic, I'll give it a 5. This was fine. Renee Paquette with Chris Jericho. Garcia says they designed a gauntlet for Starks, which is next week, by the way. I will get into that. Kenny Omega and the Young Bucks were on a basketball court. They challenged AR Fox and Top Flight to a match next week. We'll get to that. Stokely Hathaway still employed. Matt Hardy still employed. Ethan Page still employed. Isaiah Cassidy still employed. Mark Quinn still employed. They interrupted the Elite. Ethan Page challenged the Elite to a match on Friday on Rampage, which I did not review, and we will not review until Rampage is not on Fridays. I don't give a fuck if it's live. I don't care if it's pre-taped. If it's on Friday, I am not reviewing that show. Put it on Thursday. What are y'all doing so much that it should be on Friday? And this was the best match on the show. Bryan Danielson versus Timothy Thatcher. This match was great. I'm not going to go through all of this because, simply put, you know how this match is going to go. You know, the story of the match is the shoulder. Timothy Thatcher working on the shoulder. Danielson tries to come back. He delivers a drop kick. Thatcher with uppercuts. Danielson hit kicks again. Danielson used the hammer and anvil elbows. Danielson had a rear naked choke, but Thatcher counters. They bumped into the referee. MJF came out. MJF cut off by Konosuke Takeshita, who jumped out of the crowd in a hoodie, by the way. Thatcher locked in the armbar, but Danielson got the bottom rope. Timothy Thatcher hit Danielson with a belly-to-belly. Bryan Danielson hit him with the Psycho knee, pinned Timothy Thatcher. MJF and Takeshi continued to brawl, and Tony Khan made this match a world title eliminator match. MJF versus Konosuke Takeshita next week. Roosh versus Bryan Danielson also next week. We'll get to that. TBS Championship match, Jade Cargill versus Red Velvet. No rating. This sucked. This match went 2 minutes. No one cared. Jade Cargill 50-0. All you need to know. Renee Paquette with Dr. Britt Baker, GOM TV. For a medical update, Ruby Soho came into the locker room. She asked if Baker was okay. Britt Baker says, "Those are your girls, and I'm good." What do you mean, those are your girls? What is Britt Baker talking about? Your girls? Saraya and Toni Storm and Ruby Soho, and wait, Ruby Soho was never cool. Ruby Soho was never cool with Toni Storm or Saraya. What? That's weird. I don't get it. Main event, TNT Championship match, no holds barred. Darby Allin versus Samoa Joe. This is the third match in the trilogy. This was a great match. These two men just killed each other in the main event. Holy shit. Darby blinded Joe with powder early on. Samoa Joe shot Darby with a brain buster, which was great. Darby put the thumbtack cover hoodie on and nailed Samoa Joe with a coffin drop for a near fall. Darby Allin grabbed a knife and cut the ring canvas. Darby charged at Joe, but Joe moved, and Darby smashed through the table outside the ring, which was nasty, by the way. Joe wrapped the hoodie around Darby's head. Darby went for Joe's eyes. He gouged at his eyes. Darby cracked Joe with a steel chair. Darby went to the top, but Samoa Joe met him up there. Muscle buster onto the exposed wooden boards under the ring, and Samoa Joe pinned Darby Allin. Two-time champion Samoa Joe, so literally we wasted the entire talent of Darby Allin for 6 weeks, only for Samoa Joe to get it back. What the fuck was this? This was a great match though, but Jesus Christ, we wasted 6 weeks with Darby Allin as TNT champion. Why even have the title reign at all? Actually, we wasted 5 weeks, never mind that. Ridiculous. Darby Allin had a month title reign with the TNT title. Hot potato with the TNT title. But that's not my main concern. That's not the one thing I'm going to be yelling about. That's not the main thing we're going to be yelling about. Anyway, Samoa Joe wins the TNT title back. Samoa Joe then gets attacked by Wardlow. Wardlow's back without the ponytail. Wardlow's looking for the powerbomb Symphony, but Samoa Joe quickly retreated from the ring. And there you go. That was AEW Dynamite from February 1st, 2023. We're now going to immediately go into February 8th, 2023 of AEW Dynamite. We're not even going to waste any more time because I got to talk about some of the shit I saw on this show. AEW Dynamite from February 8th, 2023 in El Paso. By the way, AEW Dynamite, I'm going to talk about this. I got to talk about this. AEW Dynamite Championship Fight Night. What? AEW Dynamite Championship Fight Night. If it's Championship Fight Night, where are all of the titles? The women's title was not defended. Let me repeat that again. The women's title, the TNT title, the All-Atlantic Championship, and the World Championship were all not defended on this show. What? How is it a championship fight night if none of the damn titles are being defended on this show? And let me remind all of you something here very quickly before we go into our opening match here. I have no problem with the title eliminator thing as long as it leads to something more important into the story, right? Which is why I say the title eliminator thing actually can be a good thing. But we do not need guys like we do not need people like Konosuke Takeshita. I'm not saying he's a horrible wrestler. I'm not saying that. I'm saying there are certain guys that should not deserve a title eliminator match. I mean, this match was just put on the show just to have a world champion match on the show, right? MJF versus Konosuke Takeshita for the world title. Why not? I would have done that. It's championship fight night, remember? What a load of monkey crap. Holy shit. MJF versus Konosuke Takeshita, AEW World Championship Eliminator match. This is not a title match. So, if you're wondering why there's not a specific segment, well, simply put, there won't be any. Anyway, MJF, Konosuke Takeshita had a great match, by the way. There was this one stupid spot. I gotta talk about this real fast. I gotta talk about this spot. This was the dumbest goddamn spot ever. Takeshita landed a lariat to MJF on the top rope, but MJF landed back on his feet. MJF comes back with a super kick. Then Takeshita hits a forearm, but MJF comes back with a forearm. And then MJF hits, and then Takeshita takes his fucking head off with a lariat. That top rope lariat spot was the dumbest spot all night. What the fuck? What the hell was that? What was that? That was the dumbest spot I've ever seen in my entire life. If you're going to take a lariat off the top rope, at least, you know, sell the move as if you got, you know, fucking beheaded by this guy named Konosuke Takeshita instead of just right away just landing on your feet and then hitting a super kick. That is the main problem I think I have with AEW. They do not sell. And not saying none of them don't sell. For certain spots, they don't sell. If you take a top rope clothesline off the top rope and you land on your feet, that immediately just wiped away every single part of the match. Because now the crowd is just, they're like, what? You know, that's not supposed to happen. MJF is 220 pounds plus, right? And Konosuke Takeshita is 270, 275. Konosuke Takeshita can do a top rope clothesline, and MJF can actually not land on his feet this time. That was the dumbest spot all night. Holy hell, that was dumb. Good match though, but jeez, come on with that spot. That was terrible. MJF tries for the solid of the earth armbar. Takeshita lost himself over the top rope and hits a plancha on MJF. Takeshita grabs MJF and spiked it with a blue thunderbomb. Then he hit a running knee for a 2 count. But MJF, actually, it was not a 2 count. MJF broke it up. He had his rope on the bottom foot. He had his foot on the bottom rope. Excuse me. I'm talking a little bit too fast here. Takeshita attempted a senton atopico off the ropes. MJF dodged it. MJF has the Salt of the Earth in on Takeshita, and he has no choice but to tap out. MJF then shoved the referee, then clashed Takeshita with the Dynamite Diamond ring. Takeshita was bleeding, by the way. Bryan Danielson ran to the ring, and MJF retreated like a coward. MJF ran away like a scalded dog. And I'm interested in this Bryan Danielson MJF match at Revolution. Because, remember, Bryan Danielson faces Rush. And if he does not defeat Rush, Bryan Danielson's not number one contender. So, there you go. I'll give this match 7.5. Logic, probably a 6. Yeah, probably a 6. I think MJF should have focused on the arm all day, instead of just having that dumbass spot happen in the middle of that match. Jamie Hayter versus The Bunny, AEW Women's Raw Championship Eliminatory match. Holy shit. This match went 4 minutes. I did not care about this match whatsoever. I was going to give this a no rating, but instead, I'm not going to, because I thought this match was actually okay. This match was a little bit way too short. By the way, Jamie Hayter with Dr. Britt Baker, GOM TV, and Rebel versus The Bunny with Penelope Ford, still employed. Kip Sabian, still employed. Get Kip Sabian off my television expeditiously. This man is the worst wrestler ever. Get him out of here. And why is The Bunny associated with Kip Sabian? What a joke. What a disgrace. Alright. This match went 4 minutes. Jamie Hayter versus The Bunny, I'll give this match a 4. Logic, 1. That's all. Renee with Tony Storm and Saraya. Saraya called Leva Bates, who was still employed. Tony Storm hit Leva Bates from behind. They spray painted L. Yes, Leva Bates sucks. I hope she's unemployed by May. Get her out. Please. Please get her out. Get her out of this company. She is so much better than being a jobber in this women's division. She has been bottom of the barrel ever since the day one of AEW. Please have her unemployed. I don't know what is Leva Bates seems like a nice woman, don't get me wrong, but in the ring, oh lord, it's like watching a car crash and you know it's going to happen, but you never know when it's going to happen. It's kind of like one of those kind of things. Not to be a little bit dark here, but Jesus Christ, you know, that's terrible. Leva Bates, still employed, get off my TV. Lexi Nair trying to talk to MJF. MJF cuts another promo. Takeshita, everyone was talking about you like you was the next big thing. But you were no challenge for a generational talent like me. No one is. So right there, he's just buried Konosuke Takeshita. Why? I don't know. He says no one is. A man does not know what he's made of until he meets adversity. In this life, there are winners and there are losers. Tonight, I will expose you, Danielson. You don't have the balls to do what it takes. There will be no Iron Man match on March 5th at Revolution. I am a scumbag, Brian, and I am proud of it. That's all, folks. Ricky Starks versus the JAS in the Garcia Guevara Gauntlet. Holy shit. This is a typical gauntlet match. This was a relatively short match, but hey, it is what it is. Angelo Parker and Matt Menard came to the ring. Angelo Parker gouged Ricky Starks in the eyes. Starks pinned Angelo Parker after a spear. Matt Menard still employed. I have a question before I go into the rest of this gauntlet match. Hot hand of garbage, Angelo Parker, and Matt Menard, still employed. Get off my television! You motherfuckers lost in 2 minutes in this gauntlet match. Get off my company! Get him out! Darren Garcia out next. Sam Guevara distracted Ricky Starks. Garcia attacks him from behind. Starks tries for a spear. Garcia counters with a body lock front guillotine, which was cool. Ricky Starks fires with a Northern Lights bomb. Starks and Garcia trade strikes on the apron. Starks spears Daniel Garcia. A fan in a mask in the front row blasted Starks with the Judas effect. Y'all know where this is leading to. Chris Jericho. Daniel Garcia pinned Ricky Starks. So Ricky Starks loses again. Actually, Ricky Starks lost because of Chris Jericho. I understand why. I understand why they did it. That doesn't mean it was the right thing. I gotta give this a rating though. I'll be honest with you. This match for a gauntlet match was too predictable. Super predictable. I thought Ricky Starks was gonna go all the way, and then as a surprise, he faces Chris Jericho in the final match of the gauntlet match. I thought that was gonna happen. Instead, this match was too predictable. Chris Jericho coming out of the crowd and shit. Super predictable. I'll give this match... I can't give this match a 4. I'll give this match they tried. I'll give it a 5.5. 5.5, and logic, I'll give it probably a 1. Because none of this shit made sense, and Ricky Starks lost again to Chris Jericho. There you go. Alright, did I recap the last Dynamite? Oh, MJF, submission to Konosuke Takeshita. Jamie Hayter pinned the Bunny with the Hayter Raid clothesline. And the gauntlet match, Daniel Garcia wins the gauntlet. So that's all you need to know. Oh boy. This next match. Renee Paquette. No. Not this next match. Next segment, pardon me. Renee Paquette interviewed Billy Gunn and the Acclaimed, still employed. Billy says he decided for the match tonight he was going to stay in the batch. Stay in the batch of the unemployment line, you motherfucker. Get off my television. Billy Gunn, every time I see you, you are get off my TV material. Get him out of here. Billy Gunn says he will stay out of the match and it was a team decision. So he's doing the right thing, technically, because we do not need Billy Gunn in the back. We do not need Billy Gunn outside in the ring, you know, doing this shtick, which is ridiculous. Renee Paquette, by the way, Renee Paquette had approximately... Hold on. Renee Paquette had 4 segments tonight on this show. 4 segments. Let me repeat that again. 4 segments. I don't get it. I genuinely don't get it. Bryan Danielson versus Roosh. MJF limped down to the ring with a microphone. Bryan Danielson isn't here for this match. Aubrey Edwards needs to ring this bell and start this match right now. Give me a 10 count. Danielson broke through the door. He dashed to the ring. He takes out Jose the assistant and Preston Vance, still employed by the way. Danielson made it to the ring in time, but also into the boots of Roosh. MJF joined the commentary team. Danielson's head was driven into a steel chair, not a DQ. Danielson was bleeding heavily. Roosh rocked Danielson with an elbow and then a boot as blood streamed down Bryan Danielson's face. By the way, his head was driven to a steel chair. That match was, you know, that should have been a DQ right there. Danielson rallied back with chops and he stood on the apron. Danielson charged at Roosh, but Roosh countered with a suplex, sending Danielson on the arena floor. Danielson applied the label lock, but Roosh managed to make it to the ropes. Roosh went outside the ring. Danielson connected with a tope suicida. Danielson charged Roosh with a running drop kick. Roosh suplexed Danielson, but Danielson rolls through. Then he comes back with the psycho knee, pinned Roosh again. Roosh has lost clean, and Tony Khan has made the match. Sunday, March 5th, MJF versus Bryan Danielson for the World Heavyweight Championship, the AEW World Heavyweight Championship. 60-minute Iron Man match. It is set. It is official. MJF limped to the ring and decked Danielson with the Dynamite Diamond ring. Then he put Danielson into the armbar. This was a great match. This was the best match out of pretty much out of the past 2 weeks. 2 weeks of Dynamite. This was the best match. Bryan Danielson Roosh, I'll give this an 8. Logic, I'll give this a 5. Give this a 5. That's fair. I'll give it a 5. Yeah, good match. This was the best match out of all of the matches over the past 2 weeks on AEW Dynamite. Do check out Bryan Danielson versus Roosh, everybody. Great match. World Trio match. Another good match right here. Kenny Omega and the Young Bucks versus AR Fox and Top Flight. This match was great. This match was really good. Don Callis joined the commentary team. Top Flight used tandem offense on Nick and Matt Jackson. AR Fox took down Kenny with a dropkick. Young Bucks used combination offense on Top Flight. Kenny came in and face-bustered AR Fox head on the mat. Kenny Omega clobbered Darius Martin with a backbreaker. Darius avoided a super kick, then came back with a Spanish fly. AR Fox rolled through with a senton splash on Nick Jackson. AR Fox dished out 3 cutters in a row. Fox jumped over the top rope, connected with the Bucks, then Omega, then hit the Bucks again. Fox followed up with a senton atomico onto Omega for a near fall, which was cool. Nick Jackson was spiked by a DDT from Darius Martin. Top Flight hit a nosedive. AR Fox splashed Nick with a 450. Fox almost pinned Nick, but Kenny made the save. Dante Martin smashed Omega with a flying lariat. Matt Jackson superkicked Darius and Dante. Nick Jackson neutralized Top Flight with a moonsault. Kenny Omega rocked AR Fox with a gut-wrench Dr. Bomb, which was cool. AR Fox then countered Kenny's one-winged angel, and Omega rolled up AR Fox with a crucifix, pinned him, and the Elite retained with the Trios title. This was a good match. Not the best match out of the last 2 weeks of Dynamite, but hey, this was a good match. I'll give this match 6.5, and Logic, I'll give it a 5. Lexi, by the way, before we go on to our next, this was actually our main event. Before we go to our main event, Stokely Hathaway backstage. Stokely Hathaway says he has a problem with Hook and that he will beat up Hook every chance he gets until he gets what he wants. Hook actually approached Stokely Hathaway and he warned Stokely Hathaway to be careful with his words. So Hook reminding us that he can talk for a change. Cool. Why is the Hook feuding with the fucking Firm? I don't fucking know. And this is another thing that actually we're going to lead into a nice little segue here. It's time for another edition of What the Fuck Did He Do to Get a Title Shot? Hit my music! It's time for another edition of What Did He Do to Get a Title Shot? It's the Guns. The Guns got a AEW Tag Team title shot. What did they do to get a Tag Team Championship match? Here are your multiple choice answers at this time. A. They attacked the Acclaim last week on Dynamite. 2. They asked for a title shot last week on AEW Dynamite. 3. They attacked the Acclaim on Rampage when they were getting their Hollywood Walk of Fame stars. You all have 10 seconds to figure this out. Fuck Jake Hager. Alright, everybody. It is time for the answer to this question. What did the Guns do to get a tag team title shot? A. They attacked the Acclaimed last week on Dynamite. B. They asked their dad for a tag team title shot on last week's Dynamite. Or C, they attacked the Acclaim on Rampage. If you guess B, they got a tag team title shot because of Billy Gunn. You are correct. And that is it for another edition of What the Fuck Did They Do to Get a Title Shot? Back to your regularly scheduled programming. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, this is your main event of the show. Anthony Bowens and Max Cassidy Acclaim with Billy Gunn, who was not out there, versus the Guns, Austin Gunn and Colton Gunn. This was a relatively decent match, but I think I'm going to have a lot of problems, especially with the finish. Okay. Alright, let me calm down for a second before everything starts to get out of control here. So, the Acclaimed utilized quick tags to maintain control over the Guns. Anthony Bowens cleaned house on the Guns, taking the fight to both brothers. Anthony Bowens looked for the rolling elbow strike, but Colton shoved the ref into the way. I don't know who the hell the referee was in that match. I hope it wasn't Stephon Smith or Paul Turner, who are still goons. Austin landed a quick strike on Anthony Bowens. Austin Gunn picked up the tag team title, was partially using on Bowens. Billy Gunn ran to the ring. He stopped him. Colton smashed Billy in the head with the belt instead. The Acclaimed used the arrival and then a mic drop on Austin Gunn. With no referee, Max Caster went outside to grab the referee and help him back into the ring. Colton Gunn pulled Anthony Bowens off the pinfall. The referee was still dazed. Colton Gunn then cracked Anthony Bowens with the belt. Austin Gunn pinned Anthony Bowens, and we have new tag team champions. Ladies and gentlemen, the Guns are your new AEW World Tag Team Champions. Ladies and gentlemen, in all of my years watching AEW, I have never been so disgusted, horrified, and embarrassed as a wrestling fan. And people are actually defending the Guns, by the way. Whoever is defending the Guns, you should stop watching All Elite Wrestling. The Guns cannot go in the ring. I don't know what are y'all watching. I've seen the Guns wrestle. I have reviewed AEW for the last 6 months. And now you guys want to tell me that the Guns are one of the best things on the show. Oh man, the Guns, the best thing on the show in AEW. Oh man, oh man, oh man, y'all funny. Y'all some fucking comedians, man. Holy shit. We got a bunch of Kevin Hart and Gable Iglesias in the chat. Give me a fucking break. Holy shit. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm about to go into a realm where I don't think I will ever come back. Why the fuck did the Gun Club win the tag team titles? Why? Somebody please give me a actual solid reason except saying that the Guns are a heel tag team. I don't give a fuck if the Guns are a tweener or a heel tag team. I don't give a fuck. Why the fuck did they win the World Tag Team titles tonight? Why? What was the whole point of them winning the fucking tag team titles when they could have lost them to FTR? I would have been fine with the Acclaim losing to FTR at Revolution. I would have been fine with that. Instead, y'all gotta put the fucking tag team titles on the fucking Gun Club, which they fucking suck. The Guns had to cheat to win, to beat the fucking Acclaim. They had to cheat. The Guns made themselves look like fucking... They made themselves look like the fucking Usos in this match. Why? I'm not saying they are the Usos. They'll never be the fucking Usos. But for fuck's sakes, why did they win the World Tag Team titles? Why? This was the dumbest goddamn decision in the last 2 years in AEW. This was the dumbest fucking shit I have ever seen. Never mind the ref bump. Never mind the match. The finish of this match was absolutely ridiculous. Because then the Acclaimed... And hear me out, everybody, for 5 seconds. Before I continue on. Before I end this AEW Dynamite part of the Roundup. Hear me out. I wanted the Acclaim to maintain those belts. I didn't mind them as tag team champions. I minded the way they were being booked against certain people. They have not had any kind of competition. They have never faced the Young Bucks one time during their AEW title run. They have never faced the Lucha Bros. Where the fuck are the Lucha Bros? Did the Lucha Bros, did they disappear back into AAA? What's going on? Where are the fucking Lucha Bros? Where is FTR? Where is the Butcher and the Blade? Where are these goddamn tag teams? The tag team division in All Elite Wrestling is becoming slowly extinct. Non-fucking existent. And it is so non-existent, it is so unsayable that the Guns win the World Tag Team fucking titles? Are you fucking kidding me? We wasted our entire time. We wasted our time heading back towards All Out. And now, on this random-ass goddamn edition, this piece of shit, AEW Dynamite edition, our championship fight night, which only one title was defended on this fucking show. Now, y'all want to have the Guns win the World Tag Team titles for the fucking Acclaim. Who made this fucking decision? Who wrote this shit? Tony Khan, I got a lot of complaints with you right now. You make me sick. I have always said the Acclaim should have not won, but now on this random-ass fucking Dynamite, now you want to change the Guns to win the World Tag Team titles. This may be Tony Khan's worst fucking decision of all fucking time. This may be worse than him joining together with, maybe not with New Japan, maybe not that. Hold on. Tony Khan, you've made worse decisions than that. You made the Blood and Guts 2021. Was it 2021 or 2020? Yeah, 2021. You made that the worst finish ever. It was so fake, it was not even funny. Everyone laughed at you for that. That may be worse than that. The Guns winning here may be worse than that. And people are going to say, oh, Ben, Tony Khan has had worse segments, and why are you hating on the Guns? The Guns are one of the best teams. No, they're not. If any of you think the Guns are one of the best teams in all Elite Wrestling, you need to stop watching wrestling. You need a reevaluation of your life if you think the Guns need to win the World Tag Team titles. I have never, ever wanted the Guns to win the World Tag Team titles. I said this 2 weeks ago when the Guns were fighting. Whoa, not the Guns weren't even in a match on 2 weeks ago. When the Guns were in that fucking segment with that therapeutic segment with the fucking Acclaim, which was unnecessary. I've said this for the last 2 months. They should have not won the World Tag Team titles. Instead, on this random-ass edition of fucking AEW Dynamite, they have a shot and they win the tag team titles for no fucking reason. Tony Khan, I put this on my dead grandmother's grave. I hope this decision backfires on your ass, and I hope, I swear to God himself, that the Guns lose by Revolution, if not worse, double and nothing. And I bet all of you $100 they lose to FTR. I bet you all 100. Unfucking believable. This match sucked. Not that this show was actually okay, actually a decent show, but the fact that the Guns won the World Tag Team titles on such short notice, that on a random ass edition of this random edition of Dynamite Championship Fight Night, only 2 titles were defended on this show. Newsflash everybody, newsflash. If you're going to call something Championship Fight Night, have all of the titles be defended on this show. Where was the All Atlantic Championship? Where was the TNT Championship? Where was the World Tag Team titles? They were on the show. Where were the world title? I would have been fine with MJF versus Takeshita for the world title. I would have been fine with that. Yes, in hindsight, people are going to think it's stupid, but I would have been fine with that. If you're going to call something Championship Fight Night, only have 2 titles on the show be defended, that is not a Championship Fight Night. That is not a big show. This was not an important show. This was not a must-see show. This show was absolutely fucking unimportant. If you're going to do a Fight Night champion, if you're going to do a Champions edition of AEW Dynamite, at least do that. Orange Cassidy wasn't even on the show tonight, and I never even wanted him on the show tonight. Championship Fight Night, my ass. Unfortunately, I gotta give a rating for this goddamn main event. Wrestling 6, Logic 1. I hope this backfires on Tony Khan. I'm sick of this shit. Holy shit. I need to calm down, seriously, before I have a fucking brain aneurysm here. Alright, everybody. That's the last 2 weeks of AEW Dynamite, February 1st and February 8th, 2023. We're going to go into SmackDown February 3rd, 2023, and then we'll wrap it up with Monday Night Raw. Right after this. Alright, everybody. SmackDown February 3rd, 2023 from Greensville, South Carolina. Kayla Braxton outside. She waits for the Bloodline. Bloodline pull up. Kayla Braxton asks Reigns about the status of Jey Uso, but Reigns and the others keep walking. Hangman stops at Kayla Braxton and says that was a cold-blooded question from such a warm-hearted lady, but at this time they cannot confirm or deny the status of Jey and the Bloodline. Heyman thanks Kayla Braxton for wearing their colors tonight, red and black. He then follows the others into the arena. Roman Reigns will give a State of the Bloodline address tonight. Michael Cole and Wade Barrett are on commentary. Of course they are. No Pat McAfee yet. Because, well, Wade Barrett is actually doing a really good job on SmackDown, so I really wouldn't add Pat McAfee in this case. Unless SmackDown wants a 3-man commentary booth. Which I would not be. I wouldn't, you know, this is ridiculous. Alright, number 1 contenders, Tag Team Tournament Finals. Imperium, Giovanni Vinci, and Ludwig Kaiser versus Braun Strowman and Ricochet. We see Ricochet's Royal Rumble collision with Logan Paul as a recap of the Rumble. The winner faces the Usos on next week's SmackDown, which I will not watch, but I will talk about on the next Roundup. Alright, Imperium versus Strowman and Ricochet, you know, the usual stuff. They actually had a pretty solid match. I'm not really going to go through this match move for move necessarily because you all know where this is leading to. Plus, Gunther got ejected from ringside and everything. So, yeah. You all know where this is leading to. Y'all know Imperium was not winning this match, so I'm not really going to go for this move for move. But I will say that Strowman and Ricochet, they work really well together. All you need to know is that Ricochet did a big-time senton off Braun Strowman's shoulders. They win. Braun Strowman and Ricochet face the Usos next week on SmackDown, to which I will talk about on next Roundup. Michael Cole sends us a video package on the Women's Royal Rumble. They show Rhea Ripley, and Rhea Ripley challenges Charlotte Flair to a match at WrestleMania. Kayla Braxton backstage with Charlotte. Still employed, by the way. Kayla Braxton asks about WrestleMania 39, and Flair says the match with Rhea will be epic, but tonight her focus is on Sonya Deville. Uh-oh. Sonya Deville gets a title shot. Why? I don't know. I don't know. I'm not even gonna do the typical stuff because at the end of the day, no one fucking cares about Sonya Deville. No one cares. So we saw a random ass NASCAR segment. Rey Mysterio and the New Day with Dominic Mysterio, Finn Balor, and Damian Priest. Rey Mysterio and Dominic raced each other around the track. Rey won by half a car length. Dominic yelled at his dad after the race, threw a helmet at him saying he cheated, and the result would have been different if Rhea Ripley was there. And they almost come to blows. So there you go. Sonya Deville versus Charlotte Flair. If any of you think I'm talking about this match, you're highly mistaken. Sonya Deville versus Charlotte Flair. No rating! No rating. Thumbs down. This sucked. Charlotte Flair won. No one cared. Next, Brawling Brutes versus the Viking Raiders is our next match. But before we go to that, the Bloodline segment again. Reigns. Jimmy says he's never heard from his brother. Jimmy says he never heard from Jey yet. Reigns asks if the others think this is disrespectful like he does. Reigns says not only does Jey walk out, but he doesn't care enough to communicate. He says it's one thing to walk out, but to not to hear from Jey for an entire week. Reigns asks Jimmy if they have a title match next week, and it doesn't make sense for Jey to walk out on his obligations Reigns asks Jimmy, have you talked to his brother? He says no. Jimmy says Jay will be there. Reigns needs to chill out. Reigns says Jay may be there for Jimmy, but what about all of us? What about the entire bloodline? Reigns asks Solo Sikoa if he talks to his brother. Solo just says nothing. Jimmy says he hasn't talked to Jay. No one has. Reigns says he doesn't think everyone understands the urgency that is needed here. Reigns asks the wise man if this is not WrestleMania season. Reigns looks at Jimmy and he says he won't find Jay on the couch, so he wants to know where Jay is. So Jimmy Uso go looks for Jay. Brawling Brutes versus the Viking Raiders. This was a good match. This was fun, and I like to see more of this, please. The Viking Raiders and the Brawling Brutes. More matches between these two men, please. No, two teams. Pardon me. There are two teams, and there are two other men on each side of the ring. Tag team match. More of the Viking Raiders and the Brawling Brutes, please. This was a good match. Rich Holland knocks Eric off the apron. Butch runs in. He knocks Ivar off the floor. Butch and Holland deliver stereo 10 beats of the Baldwin. Hold on. Hold on, everybody. Oh, yeah. Okay, there we go. Butch unloads to beat Eric down on the apron. Butch launches himself over the top rope to the floor, but Eric moves and he lands hard. Valhalla, Sarah Logan gets in Butch's face now as the referee warns her. Butch gets sent headfirst into the barricade, and then he gets leveled by Eric with a stiff right hand. Eric then growls at the camera, and we go to commercial. Butch fights Eric from the apron. Rich Holland tags in. He hits a big T-bone suplex. Ivar tags in, and he kicks Rich Holland and goes for a pile driver. Holland blocks it and nails an Alabama slam, which was a nice counter for a 2 count. Ivar rams Holland back to the corner. He delivers back elbows. Butch tags in. He hits an enziguri. Butch drops Ivar in the corner. Holland comes in. He also eats an enziguri. He comes back with a lariat to turn Butch inside out. Does Ivar, hitting Butch with a lariat. Eric with a big knee strike for a 2 count. Ivar tags in. Eric hands Butch to him for the middle rope powerbomb. Holland pulls Eric to the floor, but Eric rams Rich Holland into the barricade. Butch fights Ivar up top, brings him down to the mat with a Hurricane Rana. Ivar kicks out. Butch goes to the top rope for a moonsault. Ivar blocks it, catching Butch on the shoulder for a power slam. Butch transitions into a sleeper on his back, which was cool. Ivar backs into the corner, so Eric tags in. He knocks Butch off Ivar's back. He goes to the floor. He levels Rich Holland at ringside with a big spin kick, which was awesome. The Vikings are both in. They drive Butch to the mat with the Ragnarok, which is the formerly known as Thor's hammer. They pin Butch. 1, 2, 3. The Viking Raiders win. This is what I want from the Viking Raiders. Matches like this against great opponents. This is what I want. I sincerely hope the Viking Raiders and the Brawling Brutes, they feud for a bit. I love this match. I gave this match 6, and logic, I'll give it a 5. This was good. Good match. Alright, Drew McIntyre and Sheamus come out. They unload on Eric and Ivar. They send the Viking Raiders to the back. They come out and pose to a big-time pop. Oh, no. Michael Cole sends us to a video package of the Mountain Dew Pitch Bitch Black match at the Royal Rumble. This sucked. No rating. I'm not even going to talk about it. Hold on. Uncle Howdy appears next to him, but he's... Oh, wait. Hold on. Bray Wyatt is backstage. He sits in his rocking chair. Uncle Howdy appears next to him, but he stands up, and we can't see his face. Uncle Howdy places his hand on Bray Wyatt's shoulder. He looks up at Uncle Howdy. Howdy suddenly leans over and looks at the camera. What the hell is this segment? No rating. This sucks. Women's Elimination Chamber qualifying match. Shayna Baszler versus Shotzi Blackheart. I refuse to call her Shotzi. I just did now. Shotzi Blackheart versus Selena Vega versus Natalya. This was a solid match. I believe this match went 6 minutes. All you need to know, Natalya won. She applied the sharpshooter to Selena Vega because we all know Shayna Baszler couldn't lose. Shotzi Blackheart could not lose, so Natalya won. There you go. Wrestling, I'll give this a 4. Logic, I'll give it a 5. After the match, Natalya stands tall and celebrates. She joins Liv Morgan, Raquel Rodriguez, Asuka, and Nikki Cross in the chamber. The final spot will be determined on Raw with Carmella, who is still employed, Candice LeRae, Piper Niven, and Mia Yim on Monday Night Raw, which I will review for next Roundup. I have not talked about this week's Monday Night Raw yet. I will do that right after SmackDown. Another Bloodline segment. Jimmy Uso has no luck calling Jay. Reigns says he just doesn't understand. Of all the times for this to happen, it happened when they were doing so good. Reigns asks if they know how much he has on his plate, if they understand the stress and burden of his position. Jimmy Uso nods, of course. Reigns feels like he's being pulled in two different directions, like he's being spread too thin. Reigns says he loves them and he apologizes for speaking the way he did earlier. Jimmy Uso says don't worry about it. Reigns says he needs them and he needs them to be strong as we've ever been, because if we're not, there's no more of the ones. Roman says Heyman had sushi and steak sent to the bus, so he wants Jimmy and Solo to go have dinner while he goes to the ring. They thank each other, and we go to commercial. Back from the break. Next week, this is announced. Rey Mysterio versus Karrion Kross versus Santos Escobar versus Madcap Moss to determine the #1 contender to the Intercontinental Champion, Gunther. Why? Why is Madcap Moss getting a title shot? Even getting a #1 contendership match. Why? This is dumb. I do not agree with this whatsoever. Roman Reigns for Paul Heyman in the ring. Reigns goes on and more pyro explodes. The music stops, but before Reigns can speak, Sami Zayn chant begins. Reigns calls on Greenville to acknowledge me. Fans chant Sami again. Oh no. Anyway, Reigns was going to ask who they want to talk about, but it's pretty obvious. Reigns says he would rather talk about Cody. The fans actually boo. And Reigns says, but you simple folks have reduced me to talk about the past. Reigns says fine, he will talk about Sami. But remember, there are two sides to every story. We're going to hear this. Reigns goes back to War Games when he looked Sami in the eye and told everyone he saw everything he needs to see. He says he saw greed. The same thing he sees with every person he interacts with. Reigns goes on about how a restaurant is lucky to have him these days. The entire staff says they want this or that, not what we can do for you. Reigns says he did the same for Sami Zayn. He gave him the opportunity of a lifetime, but Sami just used him, used his bloodline, and used his island of relevancy, no different than you fans, because all you do is want. You can never give back. This was actually a very good promo from Roman Reigns. I don't really have a problem with this at all. Anyway, a man in all black, a hoodie beats up Roman. It's Sami Zayn. Sami Zayn picks Reigns up, but Reigns fights back. He delivers knee shots. Reigns stomps away on Sami. Reigns has Heyman hand him a steel chair. Heyman wants Roman to end Sami. Reigns goes to swing the chair, but Sami hits a massive spear, which was awesome, by the way. Crowd goes crazy. Sami swings the chair, but Reigns rolls out the ring. Sami Zayn screams Roman Reigns' name and says he was wrong. Sami Zayn says he never wanted anything from Reigns until now. And he says he is coming for the Universal Championship at the Elimination Chamber. And then all of a sudden, Jimmy Uso gets leveled by... Jimmy Uso levels Sami Zayn with a super kick. So Dakota Jones in. The Bloodline beat him down. Reigns looks down at Sami. He's asking him if he wants something. Crowd chanting, "We want Jay. We want Jay." Yes, this is the hook of the story. Jay Uso is slowly becoming over. It's awesome. This is great. This entire segment on SmackDown was awesome. I'm not really gonna go through this match, but I thought this segment was absolutely great. Reigns says Sami broke up his family, so he wants to destroy Sami in Montreal in front of his family, friends, his child, and everyone else close to him. Reigns continues to talk trash about Sami Zayn to the crowd, and SmackDown goes off the air as Sami Zayn lies in a heap of his own wake. And that was SmackDown, everybody. Great ending segment. I thought this ending segment was wonderful. It was great. I'm going to recap SmackDown very briefly. Braun Strowman Ricochet, clean pin on Imperium. Sonya Deville, Charlotte Flair, no rating. Charlotte Flair won with the figure 8. Viking Raiders versus the Brawling Brutes. The Viking Raiders won with their Rock finisher, which is the formerly known as Thor's Hammer finisher, which is awesome, by the way. And that's it. That's the main event, and that was the main event segment of SmackDown. And that was SmackDown, everybody. Good SmackDown. I'm not really... SmackDown... can use a little bit more matches here and there. Maybe a little bit more, let's just say, a little bit more storyline progression. A little bit more guys who can be used in certain spots. You know, SmackDown's roster is actually a very solid roster. But I just don't understand why we gotta fill in certain people like Madcap Moss to get a #1 contendership match. Madcap Moss has not won a match in the last, I don't know, 5 months? Yeah. Alright, everybody, that's SmackDown. I'm gonna talk about Raw, and then we'll wrap this up. Monday Night Raw, February 6th, 2023. Alright. First thing we see, Cody Rhodes. Cody Rhodes and Paul Heyman. This was another great segment. Best segment, pretty much, in this entire roundup. This was great. Cody Rhodes talks about Dusty Rhodes, saying how Paul Heyman called Dusty an ECW. He says that he owes Paul Heyman a lot. And Cody Rhodes is happy that he got to know Paul Heyman and that he thanks Paul Heyman, and Paul Heyman almost tears up, by the way. Paul Heyman almost legitimately broke character and everything. It was awesome. And Cody Rhodes, and Paul, they go back and forth. Paul Heyman says, and I quote, Dusty may have not wanted, Dusty never trained you, but he trained everybody else from Kevin Owens all the way down to the Tribal Chief Roman Reigns. Paul Heyman says, Dusty may have never wanted you to, feel like, worse. And he has always said, Paul Heyman has always said that if you guys do not, hold on, everybody, hold on. There we go. Paul Heyman cannot convey in words how much he loved Cody Rhodes' father. Heyman can tell Cody that his father truly loved him. And then Paul Heyman reveals in his last conversation with Cody Rhodes' dad, Dusty Rhodes told him that Cody was his favorite son. Heyman says Dusty says that Roman Reigns was the son he always wanted. Holy shit, that is one way to get heat. Paul Heyman became public enemy #1 with that line alone. Roman Reigns was the son Dusty Rhodes always wanted. Holy shit, talk about heat. Heyman drops the mic. Cody Rhodes steps up to Paul Heyman. Rhodes violently grabs Paul Heyman's hand. Cody Rhodes says he's just trying to win a wrestling championship and everyone wants to make it personal. He says his boy Roman Reigns will pay for it at WrestleMania when he takes those titles personally. Cody shoves the microphone. He walks out. What a great, great segment. This was part shoot, part work, and it was awesome. This was great. Oh, wait, never mind. This was not the opening segment of Monday Night Raw. That was the main event segment of the show. The first segment, actually, of Monday Night Raw, Edge and Beth Phoenix. Edge is back. Beth Phoenix is also back as well. Edge did say, they recap Extreme Rules. Edge did say, I quit to save his wife. So Edge and Beth Phoenix are in the ring. They talk about the Judgment Day. He says he's here because of the Judgment Day. It is all his fault. Well, not really all his fault. It was really Vince McMahon's fault for fucking ruining the Judgment Day literally 3 weeks in. I'm not even making it up. If you can go back and watch Raw from last year, the way they were booked back in May, they were already ruined like 3 weeks in. It wasn't even funny. It was ridiculous. Damian Priest has proven he's a workhorse. Finn Balor is operating on a level he's never seen before, and they're in a better place than they were a year ago. Edge knew Balor didn't have what it takes to hurt him enough to make him quit physically. The minute Rhea Ripley hit Beth Phoenix with the brass knuckles, he felt helpless. Edge says they made a bad problem worse, and then he will sink to any level to beat up the Judgment Day. Judgment Day comes out without Rhea Ripley. Finn Balor says he's noticing a pattern. Edge makes his triumphant return only for the Judgment Day to beat him down again. It might be time for Edge to say, I quit again. Haha. Dominic says, oh, hold on. Dominic Mysterio, get off my television. Dominic says they've heard must have heard because word on the street travels fast. The crowd boos Mysterio. Of course they do. He tells Edge and Phoenix to run along before he does something he learned on the inside, just like he did to his dad who didn't make it to the Royal Rumble. Priest says next time they beat them down, they will make Extreme Rules look like child's play. After he beats up Angelo Dawkins, Priest will go into the Elimination Chamber and win the United States Championship back, which I can do that. That's cool. Edge tells Mysterio to shut up. They don't know what they really want. The night Priest closed his headline off, he didn't want to be a leader, but he's been following Balor like a lapdog. They'll drop each other faster than ex-con Dominic, who dropped his pants in the clink. Yes, we're making rape jokes in 2023. Wonderful. Beth Phoenix cannot believe that Rhea Ripley isn't here because of a promotional appearance. She's here to beat up Rhea Ripley. She's not here tonight, so here's the challenge. Edge and Beth Phoenix versus Finn Balor and Rhea Ripley at the Elimination Chamber. So they get into the ring. Street Profits come out. And Beth Phoenix gives Dominic Mysterio the Glam Slam, which was awesome. And Edge delivers Spirit of Finn Balor. And the Street Profits hold off the Judgment Day. Cool. Good opening segment. Damian Priest versus Angelo Dawkins. It leads right into it. Damian Priest beats Angelo Dawkins in 9 minutes. This was super predictable. Priest wins with the South of Heaven for the victory. I gave this match a 5. Actually, no, not a 5. They tried in this match. I'll give it a 6.5, and Logic, I'll give it a 5. There you go. Austin Theory, another Austin Theory promo. Oh, wait. Hold on. Yes, Austin Theory drove up in a Lamborghini, which was great. Coming up next, they recap SmackDown. Adam Pearce signs maximum male models to Monday Night Raw. Are you fucking kidding me? Why? Massey and Mansoor are still employed, by the way. Why? Why are they still employed? Who is a fan of the maximum male models? I want to know. I genuinely want to know who are a fan of these people. Chelsea Green walks up. She discusses her demands. She wasn't happy with her Belgian chocolate because she wanted Swiss. She wanted to be in the Elimination Chamber. Adam Pearce comes back. He says, "You didn't last 5 seconds in the Royal Rumble." Green's asking if she needs to speak to his manager. Green says she deserves an opportunity. Her family is in town and she wants to be presented in the proper way. She says one call to Triple H and she can destroy his job. Adam Pearce is irritated. I don't blame him. I would have fired Chelsea Green in this instance. But there you go. Baron Corbin versus Johnny Gargano. By the way, Baron Corbin still employed. JBL still employed. Dexter Lumis, who is unfortunately still employed because he has been booked like a fucking goon for the last 4 months. Dexter Lumis beat Corbin in 3 minutes. No rating. Next. Byron Saxton backstage with Becky Lynch. She says 10 years ago she met Bayley in the weight room of the NXT Performance Center. Bayley wanted to be great. The way she did that was by high-fiving and hugging people, as well as attaching herself. Lynch also wanted to do what it takes to get on top. Bayley attacked her, separated her shoulder, and brought her family into this. He said, "You don't talk about her family." Lynch has her in a steel cage tonight. And that's all you need to know. Brock Lesnar will make his first appearance, and he calls out Bobby Lashley, which we will now talk about here. Brock Lesnar comes out. He says, "Good evening, Orlando. Did they catch the Rumble?" Lesnar says he thought it sucked. At least he had a horrible experience. At the Royal Rumble, Brock Lesnar got his ass thrown over the top of by Bobby who? That's what he said. Bobby who? Bobby Lashley. Lesnar apologized for not being on Raw last week. He had to get his head straight. Lashley struck a chord in him. Last week he couldn't get Lashley out of his head. Lashley tried to go hunting, but all he think about was Bobby who? Bobby Lashley. The next day he woke up, he wanted to go ice fishing, but he thought about Lashley. Lesnar went for steak and couldn't think about Lashley. Lesnar then crawled into bed with Lesnar's wife, and after about 4 or 5 hours, and all he could think about was, pause. Wait a minute. Pause. This is a grown-ass man saying this on live national television. After 4 or 5 hours of fucking his wife, all he thought about was Bobby Lashley, who was a grown-ass black man. Pause. Hey, yo. Jesus. What the fuck? Bruh, that was so sus. Holy shit. Anyway, Bobby Lashley versus Brock Lesnar. Lesnar actually put out a contract for the Elimination Chamber. So Bobby Lashley comes out in a nice suit, and Lashley threw Lashley's ass over the top rope. Lashley gives him the contract, and Bobby Lashley then gets F5'd by Lesnar. Lashley puts the contract on Lashley, and Lesnar celebrates, and he leaves the ring. So there you go. All right. Dexter Lumis and Gargano meeting Candice LeRae. Nikki Cross is shown stalking her in the background. Lumis then made a drawing of Nikki Cross stalking them, and he asks who that is, and she notices Nikki Cross. All right. Carmella versus Candice LeRae versus Mia Yim versus Piper Niven. I'm not really going to go through the rest of this match necessarily because we all know who was going to win. Piper Niven was not winning this match as much as any of you thought that she was winning. All you need to know, Carmella pins Candice LeRae after Piper Niven hit Candice LeRae with a cannonball. Carmella super kicked Piper Niven, and she covers Candice LeRae for the win. Carmella is the final member in the Women's Elimination Chamber match. I do not know what the hell did Carmella do to get in this Elimination Chamber. So, yeah, that's ridiculous. Piper Niven did look great in this match. I can confirm. He was awesome. JBL and Baron Corbin backstage. JBL says he's headlined WrestleMania. His Hall of Fame legacy has lost all credibility because of Baron Corbin. Corbin is not a modern-day wrestling god. He's a clown. JBL says you can't polish a turd, as he already tried. JBL walks off on him. Corbin is upset. Of course he is. MVP talking to Sheldon and Cedric Alexander. Chad Gable and Otis versus Sheldon Benjamin and Cedric Alexander. So it's time for us to shoosh! Get Chad Gable off my TV. Because for the 4,844th time, Chad Gable and Otis lose clean again to Cedric Alexander and Sheldon Benjamin. So Cedric Alexander and Sheldon Benjamin, they looked great in this match. Otis actually looked great in this match. Yeah, Cedric Alexander actually brought back the lumbar check, which is one of the best finishing moves in all of WWE. Cedric Alexander beat him with the lumbar check. 1, 2, 3. I gave this match a 6, and Logic gave it a 1. Because this match should have not happened at all. Miz backstage. Miz is waiting for his appointment with Adam Pearce. Rick Boogs comes out of the office. Miz says he should have beaten Boogs last week if Adam Pearce wasn't incompetent. Adam Pearce comes out of his office. Pearce says Miz will face Boogs next week again on Raw, which is ridiculous. Chelsea Green walks up. She's heading to the ring. Green demands an opponent, and she'll call Adam Pearce's boss. And Chelsea Green's opponent is Asuka. No rating. This match went 3 minutes. Asuka beats the shit out of Chelsea Green, and she taps her out. Does Asuka. No rating. Bianca Belair comes out. Oh, while this was going on, by the way, all of the 5 women who won earlier, they're already in the chamber. They all came out, and they all had a, they all were trash talking, apparently. So, yeah. Anyway, Bianca says good luck to all the women in the Women's Elimination Chamber match, and she wishes them all the best. And as I mentioned earlier on, the final little segment between Cody and Paul Heyman, I've already talked about it, and I thought the segment was fucking great. I don't really have any complaint about this at all. Oh, this was not the main event of the show, by the way. I'm sorry, I thought it was the main event segment. It was not the main event of the show. Montez Ford versus Elias. Montez Ford won. The match went 7 minutes. I'll give this match a 5. Logic, I'll give it a 1 because Montez Ford was going to win anyway. Montez Ford is the final entrant in the United States Championship Elimination Chamber match. It is Theory, Rollins, Gargano, Bronson Reed, Damian Priest, and Montez Ford in the chamber, which is awesome. Austin Theory poses on the commentary table. He holds up the U.S. title. Rollins chop blocks him down, and then Rollins gives him a stomp on the floor. Rollins then dances around and heads to the back like Asuka, apparently. Wonderful. Main event: Bayley versus Becky Lynch. in steel cage. This was good. I'm not really going to go through this match because I don't really necessarily need to. You all need to go watch the match, though. Or see the highlights of whatever. Anyway, Lynch goes for the disarmer. Bayley screams in pain. Io Sky quickly climbs up to the garbage cage. She locks Lynch down. Dakota Kai hands a crush to Bayley. Lita then runs down to the ring. Lita then rips Io Sky off the cage. She hits the floor hard, by the way. Lita blocks a crush shot. She pulls her into the steel steps. Lita then slams the door in Bayley's face. And then Becky Lynch hits the manhandle slam for the win. So Lita helps out Becky Lynch. I thought this was actually a very deep, very solid, very good steel cage match. This was fine. But there was more interference. And, yeah, that was that. Alright, everybody, quick recap of Monday Night Raw, and I'm going to wrap this show up. Damian Priest beat Angelo Dawkins, clean pin, in an Elimination Chamber qualifying match. Dexter Lumis beat Baron Corbin by submission. Then that's all you need to know. I gave that no rating. Carmella beat Candice LeRae, Mia Yim, and Piper Niven in a Fatal 4-Way qualifying match. Carmella won, beating Candice LeRae. Cedric Alexander and Shelton Benjamin beat Alpha Academy clean. Asuka beat Chelsea Green in 3 minutes, no rating. Montez Ford beat Elias in 7 minutes in the qualifying match, in the semi-main event of the show, by the way. And Becky Lynch beat Bayley in the main event steel cage match. Alright, everybody, that's Monday Night Raw, that's SmackDown, and that was the rest of AEW Dynamite. Hopefully you all enjoyed this, just like I did. Next week, we're going to figure out what happens as we are getting closer to the Chamber. Brock Lesnar versus Bobby Lashley contract signing. We're going to figure out what's going on with the Elimination Chamber stuff and everything like that. And also on SmackDown, we're going to find out what's going on with Sami Zayn. And how does Roman Reigns respond to Sami Zayn beating him down last week. And also, next week, we're going to talk about Dynamite. And Dynamite looks like actually another stacked show, which I will also review. But I do not understand why the fucking Gun Club are your World Tag Team Champions. But that's a story for another day. Until then, on behalf of everybody involved with Life's Opening Radio Rope Break, for Cabo and Josh, I'm Ben Charles. So long, everybody. See y'all next week.